When a British teenager wrote her first haiku, a Japanese form of poetry, she little dreamt that she'd be quite so big in Japan. Gracie Starkey beat over 18,000 entries to win the English haiku category in a poetry competition there. The 14-year-old from Stroud in Gloucestershire was the first non-Japanese to win, with a poem inspired by an autumn stroll across a newly mown lawn. On her return, she spoke to BBC Radio Gloucestershire.
My Japanese teacher invited a haiku poet to school, and we did a kind of workshop explaining about haikus, and then we all went outside and wrote our own, got inspiration and stuff. The grass had just been cut at school, and it had rained the previous night, like a properly autumn day and everything, and the grass was clinging to my shoes, and yeah, just muddled thoughts was kind of all the different ideas coming into my head.
Well, I'm joined now by that haiku poet, Paul Conneally, known in his workshops as Little Onion. Paul, it's a short poem, but can you remind us of Gracie's haiku?
Okay, here goes, and I'll read it in the traditional way twice. Freshly mown grass, clinging to my shoes, my muddled thoughts. Freshly mown grass, clinging to my shoes, my muddled thoughts.
Gracie's haiku will be written on 1 million bottles of green tea in Japan. So how is it that an English schoolgirl beat so many others to the prize? What makes this particular haiku such a good one?
For people that are used to writing, let me put this into context first of all. Haiku is part of the national curriculum in England. So all children in England learn haiku, but it's taught very badly. So that's why, for the last 27 years, the English section of this haiku competition has always been won by a non-English speaker, by a Japanese person. This is the first time that a non-Japanese person has won, and there are several reasons for it. One, it doesn't follow the 17-syllable rule. If we look at it, I think it's 4 syllables short of 17 syllables. So in most schools, the teacher would say, that's not a haiku, Gracie, it's not 17 syllables. It's telling us that the Japanese judge their haiku by something more than just syllable counting. And her haiku follows a perfect Japanese way of thinking, that it's on 3 lines, although in Japanese haiku can be on 1 line. It's in 2 parts. So freshly mown grass, clinging to my shoes, is the first part, split across 2 lines. And then the 3rd line is juxtaposed to that. There's a break after shoes. Freshly mown grass, clinging to my shoes, my muddled thoughts. And that's why it's a cut above most English haiku written by English children. Of course, the competition wasn't for children. She was up against adults as well. So she's done amazingly well, really.
And, I mean, how hard is it to write a truly evocative haiku?
Do you know what? It's easy. And I'm kind of like kicking myself in the foot here, aren't I?
What is the secret?
The secret is not to think too much about it. The secret is to... the great haiku poet Basho, who was revered so much that he was actually made a saint in Japan, he said, to know of the pine, go to the pine. And if you want to know the bamboo, go to the bamboo. And if you want to know of the school grounds, go to the school grounds. Too much haiku is written at desks and things. So if you just go out into nature, become at one with it, let it talk to you, the poetry starts to issue of its own accord. And in this case, I remember Gracie writing this poem. I was out on the school field with them. She was finding it really difficult. They all are. They think too much because they want to get it right. We all want to get things right, don't we? So letting yourself just relax, letting your surroundings just talk back to you. So in this case, there's no metaphor here. She had muddled thoughts. She had mown grass on her shoes. Putting them together and juxtaposing them then sets up a resonance in the listener's mind or the reader's mind. And this is what the Japanese love so much about this poem. They find it very fresh.
Paul Conneally, Little Onion, thank you for joining us. Our producers today, Julia Ross, Duncan Barber, PM's editor, Tom Edgington. I'm Caroline Wyatt. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Now, IPM with Eddie Mair and Luke Jones.